Hi, I'm Heather. And I'm Holly. And we're the Burrata and Chardonnay twins. We love to cook in and dine out in San Francisco. And we want you to join us. Cheers! To kick off the holiday season, we're going to make an Italian comfort meal, risotto. So risotto is an arborio rice, and some people think that it's a really difficult dish to make, but it's actually very simple and will impress your guests. And you can drink wine while doing it. The best part. Everyone's favorite part. Everyone's favorite part. So tonight for you, we're going to be making a really fun and easy Italian comfort meal. We're going to be doing an easy baked chicken with a nice mustard lemon sauce on top, a wonderful roasted tomato risotto with some fresh basil, and the key is the burrata on top, which we love. And we're also going to be doing a really easy Caesar salad. Store-bought ingredients, but it's going to taste like it's homemade and just as fresh as can be.
No one will know the difference.
No one will know the difference, and it's going to be easy for you as the host, so you can have it ready for your guests as soon as they arrive. So starting with the risotto. People think it's a very difficult dish to make, and it's actually quite simple, but it's going to impress your guests. So risotto is arborio rice, and it's a slow-cooked meal that it warms your heart. It's everyone's favorite on the menu, and you get to drink wine while you cook it. You can drink wine while cooking it, and you will get to chat with your guests and enjoy the process. One of the great things is once you learn how to make the base of risotto, you can add whatever you like. Tonight we're going to be doing roasted tomatoes. On our blog we have a butternut squash, brown butter, sage risotto that we've done, which is delicious. You can do seafood risotto, add anything. You can even, I've made a red wine risotto to go with red meat. So you can make it with it what you want. We're also going to be doing one of the easiest chicken dishes that you can imagine. It's going to be a baked chicken with a really simple sauce on top, which consists of some mayonnaise, one of my favorite ingredients, mustard, Parmesan cheese, and a variety of herbs. You bake that in the oven, so you can just prep it ahead of time, put it in the oven, and then pull it out, and it's going to be nice and bubbly on top, and your guests are really going to enjoy it. It turns out perfect every time, I must admit, nice and juicy. I'm going to get the risotto started while Heather tells you about a fun way to start a party. Okay, so one of the best ways to start a party is with a cheese and meat plate. I don't know anyone in the world that does not appreciate a nice cheese and meat. So for what we have right here, we are so lucky to live in the Bay Area. We have some of the best cheeses in the world. So right now we are starting with a Humboldt goat cheese, a Petit Camembert from Marin County, and a Point Reyes blue cheese. And then of course, some salami on the side. Just serve with a regular crostini, cracker, whatever you like, and it is the perfect start to any party. Super easy. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trimming the chicken because you don't want too much fat on your chicken when you're serving it. And I'm also going to be butterflying the chicken breast. What that means is that I'm going to be cutting into the middle of it, and it's going to expand the surface area of the chicken. So if you can see right here, we now have more surface area that I can add the sauce onto. It's also going to help with the cooking time of the chicken in the oven, and it's going to be super moist and delicious. I'm going to do a mix of olive oil and butter. Butter gives it good flavor, and olive oil helps the burning temperature. So I like to use both every time I'm sauteing onions for the risotto. I'm gonna brown these onions till they're nice and translucent. And they're gonna keep cooking throughout the entire process with the risotto, so I don't need to worry about getting them too caramelized or anything just yet. So I'm adding some fresh herbs to our sauce that's gonna top the chicken that we bake. What I'm adding is some rosemary, some chives, some thyme, and some sage. These are all really good for poultry and give it that really nice earthy flavor that's just gonna go beautifully with the rest of our mayonnaise and mustard topping that's gonna go on top of the chicken with, of course, some Parmesan cheese. I love using fresh herbs because they just give a nice, beautiful note to a dish. When you're using dried herbs, you have to be really careful on the amount you use because they're a lot stronger than the fresh herbs, but the fresh herbs just give it this beautiful liveliness that just really melds well with the chicken and the sauce that's gonna go on top. And once you see it in the oven and it's broiling nicely, everyone's gonna be excited to try it. So something to keep in mind while you're chopping herbs, or anything for that matter, is that you want your hand to feel like it's part of the knife. It's your natural inclination to hold it up here, but you really want to hold it at the edge of the knife right here. As you can see, my fingers are just touching the knife. That way, I have a much better hold on the knife, and you want to be, of course, careful of your fingers, but I have a much better hold of the knife and a lot more control and can go through these herbs really quickly. Time to get the arborio rice in to start the risotto process. So we already have the onions sauteing in here, and I'm adding in the rice, about 2 cups. And I'm going to have it start cooking with the onions, and I'm looking for it to get translucent because I know then that it's going to be ready to start adding the liquid. This is starting the cooking process because it is a little bit of a process with the risotto, but getting it nice and toasted before will add good flavor and begin the cooking process. It doesn't look like there's a lot of risotto in there right now. It's going to expand a lot once we start adding the wine and the broth. So I have some broth here and I'm starting to bring it to a simmer because you want to have warm broth added to the risotto. So you don't want to use room temperature or cold broth because that'll stop the cooking process. So you have it heated, keep it right next to you. Always have plenty, you never know when you're gonna need more, and have it there. You'll add it in ladle by ladle to keep the process going. And some wine, and there's always wine. So our arborio rice is starting to become translucent, so it's time to add our favorite ingredient, the wine. You're gonna add about 1/2 cup to 3/4 of a cup, and I just eyeball it. More gets in there, that's fine. No one's gonna complain. And then this is gonna deglaze the pan. I love that sound. So that's gonna deglaze the pan of all of those good bits on the very bottom that you got while you were sauteing your onions. We're gonna let this cook down, and once it does, we're gonna start adding in our broth. Okay, so the wine has been absorbed by the rice, and it's time to start with our broth. And I'm gonna just add it 1 ladle at a time. And then just keep stirring it. Good thing is you have 1 free hand for wine, 1 hand to stir. So it's a little bit of a process, but you can keep drinking wine while you're doing it. Now that you can see that 1 ladle has been absorbed, just keep adding the next one. So we're gonna keep adding liquid until you can see that the rice isn't really absorbing much of the broth anymore. And so then you know that it's gonna be about done. I like to taste it just to make sure that it's very al dente, because once you stop adding the broth and you start adding your cheese and the tomatoes and any cream if you like, it's gonna keep cooking. So you wanna make sure that the arborio rice doesn't get overdone. So make sure that it's al dente when you stop adding the broth, and then it'll keep cooking once you add your other ingredients. So we have our herbs chopped, and I added some fresh garlic in there too, because you can never have enough garlic. What we're gonna do now is assemble our sauce. So I'm gonna get my holiday spatula, and what we're gonna do is add about 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. You can never have too much mayonnaise. But this, for those that don't love mayonnaise, you can barely taste it in the dish. It just gives it that nice full body flavor. We're also gonna add some Dijon mustard, and this is about 1/4 cup. And what we also have here is if you have a fun mustard in the pantry, go ahead and use that. What this is it's a green olive lemon mustard, and it's gonna go fantastic in this dish and give it a great flavor. If you have a stone ground mustard, something of that sort, go ahead and use it. And it's just gonna bring that extra, people will wonder what's in the dish, and you can just say, oh, it's just a secret, when it's really just a fantastic mustard. So we're gonna stir this all together. And then I also have my herbs on the side. So we're just gonna go ahead and add these in. Mix these all together. And you can just see all of the flavors are melding together right now. And then lastly, we're gonna add one of our favorite ingredients, and this is grated Parmesan cheese. So just, I would say about at least 1 cup. You want this to be really thick and kind of pasty, because that is going to meld over the chicken while it's cooking, and it's just gonna, you don't want it too thin, because then it would just go all over the place in the oven. So you can see that this is really coming together nice and thick, and add as much as you want. If you want to add some grated Parmesan, you can do that as well, but this looks perfect as it is. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add this on top of the chicken right here. Distribute it out equally on top of all of our beautiful butterflied breasts here. And you want to make sure that you're seasoning along the way too. So I'm going to get all of this started, and then I'm going to top it off with some salt and pepper. So since I am drinking wine while I cook, I did forget one little ingredient in the sauce. So what I'm going to do is, that was lemon. All I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my lemon here. And I'm just gonna do a little spritz over the top of these chicken breasts. As you can see, I have distributed the sauce evenly over them. You can see it is a thick layer, but that will just really brown up nicely in the oven. And a quick little drip of lemon on top is gonna make this delicious. Cheers. So I love to season every layer of a dish. So right now I am just adding a final salt and pepper layer to the chicken before we put it in the oven. It's gonna be unbelievable. This is gonna bake at about 400 degrees for about 25 minutes. Basically, I like to look at it when it's gonna be done is when the top is nice and bubbly, and you'll see that nice browning that's really gonna let you know that the chicken is done, and it is gonna be so moist and delicious, you will love it. So we have our entire Italian comfort meal prepared, and we cannot wait to share it with our guests. But before we do, a chef always has to taste what they make before they serve it. So we're gonna just check for seasoning and, imbibe a little bit. So we're first gonna try the chicken, which I cut into. Everything is cooked perfectly, and we're just gonna see how this seasoning is, if it needs a little bit of extra salt or pepper. It is so moist. You can really see that flavor coming through from the sauce, and it just gives that extra kick. Chicken needs an extra kick, so you've done it. Thank you, Holly. Well done. Yeah, and it's so easy. You pop it in the oven, 5-minute prep. and you have a beautiful chicken dish to serve to your guests. No one will know how easy that was. Yeah. In the words of our beloved Ina Garten, how easy is that? Love her. Love her. Great. And now for the risotto. So the piece de resistance, the burrata. Bring this out to the table, serve it family style, and when you're ready, add that on there. Just add all of burrata on anything. It's good. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. And everyone will be able to serve themselves from this beautiful dish, and they can all grab a little bit of burrata as they serve themselves. Shall we? We shall. Okay. Don't have to ask me to put burrata in there. Oh, so I'm getting this beautiful burrata, and the risotto is just, it smells. That's great. Holly, you like that, don't you? You have outdone yourself with the risotto, and the burrata on top, just amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely love it. Yeah. Do you know what that goes really well with? I would say Chardonnay. Chardonnay. Yeah, you're exactly correct. And we are going to serve it with this super simple Caesar salad on the side. No one knows how store-bought it is. It looks amazing, tastes amazing. It's so great. And you know what? All of that matters is to have fun with your guests, enjoy, have a great time. And follow us on Instagram. It's Burrata_and_Chardonnay. Or we also have our blog, burrataandchardonnay.com. And we also have a YouTube channel, so follow us there as well. We look forward to seeing you next time. Burrata and Chardonnay. Cheers. Once we melt the butter down, I'm gonna put in the arborio rice and cook it for about 5 minutes until it's nice and toasted. You'll see that the arborio rice gets a little translucent once it's cooked in the oil and butter for about 5 minutes. You wanna do that to start the cooking process with the arborio rice.
This much.
Okay.
Stop.
Oh, wow.
See, look how this comes up.
Oh my gosh.
So this is supposed to be all the way the coldest. So that
I love hearing the sound of the onions sizzling in the butter and olive oil. I don't think there's a better smell in the world. Right now I am trimming the fat off of these. Something really important to keep in mind is a nice sharp knife, because that makes a big difference when you're trying to get the fat off of that chicken. It can come off really easily.
Fireball burrata right in the middle of this pot. And I will serve it by taking scoops of this wonderful cheese and adding it to the risotto, and it'll